Do you feel like the villain in your own mother's story? Like every step toward your greatness was met with sabotage and silence instead of pride? For the chosen ones, those singled out by narcissistic mothers, it's not love gone wrong, it's hate masked as care. Narcissistic mothers don't hate you because of who you are. They hate you for what you are, undeniable evidence of potential they'll never have, a reflection of vitality they've long since lost, and a threat to the fragile power they clawed together. You are their mirror, but instead of seeing love, they see competition, rebellion, and reminders of their own inadequacy. This hate isn't passive, it's weaponized. It shows up in sabotage, silence when you succeed, and cutting words that aim for your core. It's not random, it's targeted, and you've been in the crosshairs for far too long. Drop a comment. I will not be her scapegoat if you're stepping out of her crosshairs. The first reason narcissistic mothers hate you is simple. You threaten their control and image. Your independence, confidence, and ability to thrive without their approval clash violently with their insatiable need for dominance. They thrive on being the center of attention, the authority in every room, and the keeper of all power. Your autonomy is a slap in the face, a bold declaration that you don't need them to define you, and it drives them into a spiral of rage and insecurity. The second reason narcissistic mothers hate you is jealousy of your natural abilities, the way you draw others in, and your accomplishments. It ignites a rage within them that they can barely conceal. To them, your light casts an unbearable shadow over their desperate need for attention and validation. Every compliment you receive feels like a theft, every achievement a reminder of what they couldn't or wouldn't become. As the chosen one, your talent doesn't just shine, it overshadows. To a narcissistic mother, this isn't cause for pride. It's an unforgivable offense. Where you see growth, she sees betrayal. Where others celebrate you, she plots how to bring you down. Her jealousy manifests in veiled criticisms, sabotage disguised as concern, and endless comparisons that aim to diminish you. To her, your talents and charisma aren't gifts, they're weapons you wield against her. She resents every ounce of admiration you earn because, in her twisted view, it's admiration stolen from her. You didn't choose this rivalry, but you were born into it. The third reason narcissistic mothers hate you is they project the insecurities and shortcomings they work so hard to bury. Instead of facing their emotional wounds, they weaponize you as a scapegoat, casting their failures and fears onto your life. If you excel in areas they couldn't, they tear you down, as though by crippling your confidence, they can silence the voice of their inadequacy. As the chosen one, you bear the brunt of this projection. Every criticism they hurl, every area of your success they sabotage, is less about you and more about the pieces of themselves they cannot accept. When they see you thrive, it forces them to confront what they might have been, had they chosen growth over control. But rather than face that truth, they crush yours. The fourth reason narcissistic mothers hate you is because they are scared of being exposed. Your growth, independence, and success shine a light on the cracks in the facade of perfection they've spent a lifetime constructing. As the chosen one, your progress becomes a direct threat to this illusion. The more you succeed, the more others start to see the disparity between the mother they claim to be and the one you know all too well. This terrifies them. They fear the whispers, the judgment, the collapse of the image they've curated so meticulously. In response, they retaliate with disdain, sabotage, or even public humiliation, all designed to keep you in check and protect their mask. Their hatred stems not from who you are, but from what you threaten to reveal. The fifth reason narcissistic mothers hate you is your individuality challenges their expectations. As a chosen one, your refusal to conform to her vision of who you should be becomes a direct affront to her control. She doesn't see your uniqueness as a strength. It's a disruption, a rebellion against the mold she worked so hard to create. To her, you aren't meant to have your own desires and goals. You're meant to fulfill hers. This divergence shakes the foundation of her fragile identity. She built her self-worth around the idea that you are an extension of her, a reflection she can shape and control. When you break away, carving your own path, it's not just defiance, it's a threat. It exposes the lie she's clung to, the illusion that she holds all the power. Your independence makes her feel irrelevant, and her response is vicious. She diminishes your achievements, mocks your choices, and accuses you of disloyalty, all in a desperate attempt to drag you back under her control. But her hatred isn't about who you are, it's about who she isn't. You embody the freedom she'll never have, and she can't stand it. The sixth reason narcissistic mothers hate you is they are scared of you surpassing them. Your potential, your brilliance, your capacity to achieve terrifies them, because it threatens to outshine the image they've desperately crafted. To a narcissistic mother, your greatness is not a legacy to celebrate. It's a reminder of her own inadequacies, her unrealized dreams, and the power she never had. Like Cronus devouring his children to maintain his rule, she will do everything in her power to undermine your success. Every accomplishment is met with sabotage, every victory with dismissal or veiled contempt. She cannot allow you to rise higher than her because in her mind, your success equals her failure. Your achievements don't fill her with pride, they fill her with dread. She'll criticize what she cannot control, downplay what she cannot deny, and cling to the belief that without her, you are nothing. Her hatred is a defense mechanism, a desperate attempt to keep her superiority intact. But the truth is undeniable. She fears your greatness because it exposes her mediocrity, and that fear drives her to destroy the very thing she claims to love. The seventh reason narcissistic mothers hate you is they are scared of being abandoned. Your ability to build meaningful relationships, form your own identity, and create a life beyond her reach triggers her deepest anxiety, being left behind. To her, every bond you form outside her control is a threat, a reminder that her influence over you is slipping away. She views your independence not as a triumph, but as an act of betrayal, an affront to the role she believes she is entitled to play in your life. As the chosen one, your growing autonomy is magnified. She sees your success as the clearest sign of her diminishing power. To counter this, she weaponizes guilt, manipulation, and even sabotage. She'll accuse you of being ungrateful, question your loyalty, or create crises designed to pull you back into her orbit. Her need to tether you to her is relentless, fueled by an inability to accept that your life doesn't revolve around her. This fear warps every interaction. Even your happiness becomes a battlefield where she fights to maintain control. Her hatred is a smokescreen for her terror, but it poisons the very bond she claims to protect. Now I want you to listen very closely. They say the truth will set you free, but most can't handle it. For the chosen ones in the obsidian inner order, it's not just the truth. It's the whole cosmic download, no sugarcoating, no escape. This week we bring you a story you'll never hear on YouTube. A chosen one who broke free from the clutches of a satanic cult and found redemption in the divine. It's raw, it's real, and it's exactly the kind of revelation that would make an archon sweat. In the inner order, we don't just talk, we gather. Weekly calls with over 400 ascended souls, diving deep into the secrets they don't want you to know. We're not for the faint of heart, and we're definitely not for muggles. I don't always share my secrets, but when I do, it's in the obsidian inner order. Click the link in the description. Stay chosen, my friends. The eighth reason narcissistic mothers hate you is your boundaries, which they perceive as disrespect. When you set limits to protect your energy and autonomy, they see it as defiance, not self-care. Every no you assert is twisted into rebellion. Every decision to prioritize yourself feels like a direct insult to their authority. For a narcissistic mother, boundaries are not barriers. They are betrayals. As the chosen one, your refusal to cater to her every demand stings more deeply because she expects you to uphold her illusion of control. Your independence becomes the ultimate affront, and instead of respecting your right to draw a line, she responds with escalating hostility. This could mean guilt-tripping you into compliance, manipulating others to shame you, or outright punishing you with silence or rage. Your boundaries aren't just boundaries to her. They are acts of war. She uses every tool in her arsenal to dismantle them, fueled by the belief that your autonomy diminishes her power. In her eyes, your desire for freedom isn't human, it's treachery. And so her resentment grows because she would rather destroy your confidence than admit she cannot control you. The ninth reason narcissistic mothers hate you is that you expose their intergenerational trauma. By recognizing the toxic patterns they inherited and passed down, You force them to confront family dynamics they've spent their lives avoiding. Your clarity and refusal to carry forward the same destructive behaviors reveal the very cycle they've worked to normalize and bury. To them, your awareness is a threat, a reminder of their failure to break free from the chains of their past. As the chosen one, your strength and insight shine a spotlight on the dysfunction they hope to hide. When you choose healing over silence, independence over compliance, and growth over denial, you make their pain and accountability inescapable. It's not just that you refuse to repeat the cycle, it's that your defiance of it highlights their role in perpetuating it. This exposure isn't met with gratitude or reflection, it's met with resentment, anger, and attempts to tear you down. They'd rather vilify you than face the truth you've unearthed. By standing in your power, you become the mirror they dread, reflecting their failures and the pain they've inflicted but refuse to own. Narcissistic mothers don't just oppose you, they sabotage you at every turn. Their tactics are deliberate and insidious, designed to undermine your confidence, erode your achievements, and keep you tethered to their control. They dismiss your successes as luck, invalidate your struggles as weakness, and plant seeds of self-doubt to make you question your worth. When you rise, they find ways to pull you down, sabotaging relationships, creating conflict, or withholding support when you need it most. Their sabotage isn't random, it's calculated. They fear your independence and power, and their relentless interference is their weapon to ensure you never outgrow their shadow. Emotional manipulation is a weapon narcissistic mothers wield with precision, designed to crush your individuality and keep you questioning your reality. They manufacture guilt at every turn, reminding you of sacrifices you never asked for, labeling your independence as selfishness, and twisting your boundaries into accusations of betrayal. Every move you make toward autonomy is met with calculated doses of shame, ensuring you feel undeserving of the freedom you seek. Gaslighting becomes their masterstroke, distorting your perception of reality so thoroughly that you start doubting your own memories and feelings. They rewrite events to favor their narrative, deny hurtful things they've said or done, and accuse you of being too sensitive or ungrateful. The goal is clear: to make you dependent on their version of the truth and undermine your confidence in your own judgment. Through guilt and gaslighting, they create a psychological maze where every exit leads back to their control. This manipulation isn't accidental. It's a strategy to suppress your individuality and ensure you stay trapped in their web of dominance. The more you fight to find yourself, the more they tighten their grip, keeping you a prisoner of their need for power. Narcissistic mothers undermine your success to keep you small, manageable, and dependent. When you achieve something significant, they belittle it, dismissing your hard work as luck, privilege, or inconsequential. Their praise is laced with backhanded compliments or thinly veiled criticism designed to sap your confidence and make you doubt your own abilities. They don't see your success as a cause for celebration. It's a threat to the power they hold over you. But it doesn't stop there. They interfere with opportunities, creating obstacles or subtly sabotaging your progress. Whether it's sowing doubt before an important decision, withholding support when it matters most, or creating drama to distract you from your goals, their interference is deliberate. Like Athena in the myth of Arachne, whose jealousy drove her to destroy a talent she couldn't match, narcissistic mothers work to tear down what they cannot control. Your achievements, instead of bringing them pride, shine a harsh light on their insecurities. They undermine you not because you failed, but because you've succeeded without them. To maintain dominance, they must keep you doubting your worth and questioning every step forward you take. Favoritism is a weapon narcissistic mothers wield to divide and conquer, pitting you against your siblings to maintain their control. They create a hierarchy, elevating one child to golden child status while branding another as the scapegoat. If you're the chosen one, the scapegoat, every move you make becomes an opportunity for criticism, while the golden child is idolized and shielded from accountability. This dynamic isn't accidental. It's a calculated strategy to keep the family fragmented and focused on competing for her approval, rather than questioning her behavior. By favoring one sibling and devaluing another, she fosters resentment and rivalry, ensuring loyalty shifts away from each other and back to her. The golden child may bask in the glow of her approval, but even they are not safe. Their worth is tied to meeting impossible expectations. Meanwhile, you, as the scapegoat, are burdened with blame for every conflict, every failure, every flaw she refuses to own. This division isn't about fairness or even favoritism. It's about power. When siblings distrust each other, they cannot unite against the real source of dysfunction. Her goal is to keep you isolated, doubting yourself, and locked in her toxic cycle. Isolation is one of the sharpest tools narcissistic mothers use to control you, severing your ties to anyone or anything that might empower you. They disrupt your connections with supportive networks, friends, extended family, even mentors, by sowing distrust, creating conflict, or outright forbidding relationships. They tell you that others don't care for you, that they alone have your best interests at heart, spinning lies to keep you dependent on their approval. Emotional dependency is their goal, but financial dependency often cements their control. They'll sabotage your efforts to gain independence, dismiss career aspirations, or guilt-trip you into staying close, ensuring you remain tethered to them. Even as you grow older, they find ways to keep you beholden, dangling support or love as leverage to manipulate your choices. This isolation isn't about protecting you, it's about weakening you. They fear your autonomy because it threatens their dominance, so they dismantle your support system piece by piece, leaving you feeling alone and powerless. But their control thrives on your isolation. Every connection you rebuild, every bridge you strengthen, is a step toward breaking free from their suffocating grip and reclaiming your life. Narcissistic families operate like carefully orchestrated plays, with every role scripted to ensure the narcissistic parent maintains absolute control. These roles are not accidental. They are calculated assignments designed to manipulate, divide, and dominate. If you've lived it, you already know the cost of being cast in one of these parts. The golden child is put on a pedestal, idolized and showered with approval, but the admiration is conditional. They exist as an extension of the narcissistic parent's ego, expected to embody perfection and meet impossibly high expectations. Failure is not an option, and their worth is tied entirely to their ability to uphold the parent's idealized image. Behind the facade of favoritism lies suffocating pressure and the constant threat of losing favor. The scapegoat, on the other hand, bears the weight of blame for every failure, every flaw, and every conflict. They are the outlet for the narcissistic parent's frustrations, a convenient target to deflect accountability. No achievement is ever enough to redeem them, and every misstep is amplified to reinforce their position as the family's problem. The invisible child is left to fade into the background, neglected and overlooked. They are denied the spotlight, their needs ignored as if their existence barely matters. This role leaves them grappling with feelings of worthlessness as their voice and presence are systematically diminished. Then there is the chosen one, the dual-edged role of simultaneous praise and sabotage. Their potential is recognized but weaponized, held up as a standard while constantly being undermined. The narcissistic parent views them as a threat, their success too bright to exist without retaliation. They are both lauded and punished, caught in a web of contradictory treatment that leaves them questioning their own value. These roles don't exist to serve you, they exist to serve the narcissistic parent's need for control. They foster division, ensuring you compete with one another rather than unite against the dysfunction. The roles may shift, but the goal remains the same, keeping the parent at the center while everyone else revolves around their chaos. I once worked with someone who captured the painful paradox of being the chosen one. Their family expected them to excel, to outshine everyone else, as though their success would somehow validate the entire household. But the moment they achieved anything, the narrative shifted. They were accused of arrogance, ridiculed for being too proud, or met with snide remarks designed to cut them down to size. Their victories became weapons used against them, ammunition to feed the family's resentment and keep them tethered to a cycle of endless striving and inevitable criticism. This dynamic isn't unique. As the chosen one, you are held to impossibly high standards, expected to be the family's beacon of hope and achievement. But every step you take upward feels like walking a tightrope. The golden child receives praise without conditions, the scapegoat takes the blame, and the invisible child is ignored altogether. Meanwhile, you're given the crushing responsibility of representing the family's success while being punished for standing out too much. This duality leaves scars. You learn to excel not for joy but out of fear, and every accomplishment becomes another reason for the family to keep you in their twisted grip. Favoritism in narcissistic families is a trap, not a gift. As the chosen one, you're praised one moment and resented the next, leaving you questioning your every move. The compliments feel hollow, laced with strings that tether your worth to their approval. When you succeed, they take credit or accuse you of showing off. When you falter, the resentment sharpens, a reminder that their love is conditional. This paradox leaves you emotionally drained, caught between the need to please and the exhaustion of never being enough. Their praise isn't validation, it's a leash, designed to keep you under control. As the chosen one, your self-worth is tied to performance, leaving you battling insecurities, a fear of failure, and difficulty trusting others. Early conditioning teaches you to overachieve or people-please, sacrificing your needs for approval that never truly comes. Boundaries feel foreign, and perfectionism becomes your shield against criticism. Viktor Frankl once said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." For you, reclaiming your identity means breaking free from these patterns. Your worth is not tied to their approval, and your strength lies in redefining who you are beyond their control. Healing and thriving as a chosen one requires deliberate, courageous action to reclaim your life. First, set boundaries, not as suggestions but as firm limits against toxic behaviors. Recognize patterns of manipulation or sabotage and refuse to let them define your choices. Your boundaries are not just protections, they are declarations of self-respect. Next, seek external support. Build a network of allies, friends, mentors, or support groups who uplift and empower you. The strength of community can counter the isolation imposed by narcissistic dynamics. Let others remind you that you are not alone and that your value extends far beyond your family's dysfunction. Third, cultivate self-worth by focusing on personal growth and self-compassion. Break the habit of seeking external validation and start recognizing your achievements for what they are. Proof of your resilience and potential. Celebrate your progress no matter how small, and prioritize your emotional and mental well-being. Finally, distance if necessary. If the relationship remains toxic despite your efforts, consider minimizing contact or cutting ties entirely. Protecting your peace and growth is not betrayal, it is survival. In Norse mythology, Yggdrasil, the world tree, withstands storms, axes, and decay, yet stands unshaken, a source of life and renewal. Like Yggdrasil, you can endure adversity, transform your pain into strength, and become a source of inspiration for yourself and others. The storms will rage, but your roots run deep, and your power to grow is limitless. Narcissistic mothers hate you because your independence threatens their control. Your success stirs their jealousy, and your potential exposes their insecurities. They sabotage, manipulate, and project their pain onto you, trying to mold you into a shadow of yourself. But their hatred is not your identity, it is their reflection. Their chaos does not define your worth. You have the power to shatter the cycle. Setting boundaries is not rebellion, it's survival. Seeking support is not weakness, it's strength. Prioritizing your growth and self-worth is not selfish, it's necessary. Your resilience is your birthright, forged in the fires of their resentment, and now it is time to wield it. Your light is not meant to be dimmed. You were chosen for a reason, to rise, to endure, and to break free. Reclaim your voice, embrace your power, and build the life you deserve. Your story matters, and your truth can ignite the courage in others. Share your journey not as a cry for sympathy, but as a declaration of victory. Speak your truth, and let the world see the strength that could not be silenced.